You're listening to Female Founders with Claire Bartlett, the podcast that tells you what it is really like to be a female founder in today's world. We share invaluable insights through personal journeys and real-life business experiences, highlighting the highs and the lows so you can move forward in your business with ease. I am passionate to share with you the realities of business and give you the strategies and simple steps you need to truly succeed with your business. Today's episode is brought to you by Xero Accounting Software, a champion of female entrepreneurs and a proud sponsor of the Female Founders podcast. Managing your business finances can feel overwhelming, but Xero simplifies it all and gives you the power to keep your books in order and your mind on growth. Xero have offered an amazing 50% discount off your first 3 months with them to all our listeners. So if you'd like to take advantage of this amazing deal, then follow the link in the show notes today. But for now, let's jump into this week's episode. Hello and welcome to another episode of Female Founders Chat Show. Today on the Chat Show, we're super excited to have Serena Novelli, who is a renowned love and relationship expert known for her transformative work with couples and individuals. She also co-founded Love Thy Body Project, which is an initiative dedicated to empowering women to love and accept themselves in all of their beauty. Serena, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Claire. I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. We've known each other a long time, haven't we? But we haven't actually managed to catch up in quite a while. So it's nice
Yeah,
to see your face again.
and you.
So the first question I want to start with is there a pivotal moment or person you looking back you think has put you on the path to where you are today in business?
Okay, so I'm going to big up Leona Burton, who is the founder of MIB International,
Hmm.
because without Leona, I wouldn't be in the circles that I'm in, no matter how much I've expanded. She was my first port of call on my
Yeah.
journey to becoming an entrepreneur in the world. And she has championed me for the past 8 years on my journey. And I spoke at the Big Festoon in March, and she was there championing me on there as well, which was really lovely to see.
Oh.
Um, and I did give her a shout out on the stage then. But basically, I've learned everything that I know about business from that community. So either from Leona herself and her tools, or through um, people who I've met along the way. Um, and like with Love Thy Body Project, if we talk about Love Thy Body Project, when that was first founded, the two women that I founded that with were both
Hmm.
from that community as well. And that's how we had met each other. So I'm bigging out Leona for that for sure.
Yeah, and that's how we met as well, isn't it? Through that community. I think it was
Yeah.
they did it very well. It created such a safe space for us all, and I think we were all because it's actually crazy when you say it's like 8 years ago, but we were all quite new. We were all new to fresh and green to business, weren't we? Really back then, and I think we managed to
Yeah.
just support each other through our journeys. So yeah, that it was it was the perfect time to have that beautiful community, wasn't it? Really. Talking about the Love Thy Body project and about self-empowerment, just before lockdown in March 2020, we actually did a body confidence catwalk together, didn't we?
We
Um,
did.
which
Yeah.
was amazing. And I bring that up because I know that you are doing something very similar at the moment, aren't you?
I am indeed. Yes.
So
So
tell us about that.
oh my goodness, this is like I know you're going to ask me some questions around business, and this I think has come from one of the questions I think you might ask me in a little moment. But what I'm doing is actually when I think about it in my head, I think I'm crazy. I think why am I even attempting this? So I'm going to be taking 20 individuals through a 6-month process. So they will be learning tools and techniques to support their mental health and their well-being alongside building tools for self-love and body confidence and self-acceptance. Um,
Hmm.
as they go through this process, I'm also putting together an event where they can walk that catwalk, because that was such an empowering thing for us to do back
It was
in just before
amazing.
lockdown.
Yeah.
And I founded Love Thy Body Project with Laura and Anna, but both Laura and Anna have gone off to do their own thing. So it's just me, which is why it's so scary.
Holding the fort. So to give people a bit of insight for those that don't know exactly what we're talking about, if you picture, the Gok Wan show, where right at the end every episode he used to make them walk the catwalk in the shopping centres and things, didn't he, in their underwear? That's basically what we did. It was all Ann Summers underwear in a room. I don't know, 100 plus people,
Hmm.
and we strutted our stuff, and it's so empowering. Like, I can remember
Yeah,
just feeling like I was on top of the world when I did that. And so I think it's amazing that you're carrying that on and you're doing that for another
yeah.
group of people, but taking it that one step further, doing the work around body body love and appreciation before the event.
I um I absolutely adore like witnessing individuals like kind of break out of that box and realize
Mhm.
that that they can be enough just as they are. They don't have to change anything whatsoever to be accepted and to feel good in their skin. And really, most of the time, people want to change the exterior. The first thing that they think of when they don't feel good is, I need to go on a diet. And sometimes having, going on a diet is important, like, for health benefits and things like that. But however, that they're not necessarily, they can lose as much weight as they want on a diet, but if they're not doing the inner work and working on their mindset and the mind monkeys that they've had with them from probably such a young age, from childhood, if they're not doing
Yeah,
that inner work, then nothing really changes. They feel good for a moment as they lose the weight, but then life kind of, it stays the same, and the worries and the mental health pieces are still playing havoc on them, and they
yeah,
quickly revert back. So this is about empowering them, letting them know that it doesn't matter where they are at this moment in time, they are good enough and they are capable of being awesome beings. But we're going to do that 6 months work around mindset and around making sure that they understand what it is that gets in their way, and how they can use the tools to ensure that when these things start to creep in, that they're very conscious of it and that they can make the right choices and the right decisions to help them move through things. I suffered with anxiety since I was a small child, and often find it really hard to walk into a room, and it's only because I know and understand the tools that work for me that I
hmm
can do those things. And lots of people will say, you don't look like you're anxious, or I'm literally having kittens underneath it, everything. But I've learned what works for me, and I know to go off. If I need to go off, I know to go off to a quiet space and just take a few moments to breathe. And so I'm
yeah.
just going to share what I've learned along the way, and through my education, what I can provide for them for that. So yeah, I can't wait.
No, I think it sounds amazing, and I think what's really important to connect here, that a lot of people I think don't realize, is actually all of this that you're talking about, Serena, is goes so much further than just your body confidence in what you can wear and how you hold yourself. The
Mhm.
impact that will have on your business is
Mhm.
huge. So I know personally, and I speak about confidence a lot in what I do, that the steps that I took in the early days of business, i.e., doing that catwalk with you, making myself, stand up on stage and talk in front of people, and all of those big, terrifying things that were so far out of my comfort zone. But because I forced myself to do them, I am a completely different person now. I don't have that same fear. I don't have anything holding myself back because I've done it. I challenged myself enough to
Mhm.
know that yes, I feel the fear, but I know it will be okay, and I do it anyway. Um, and I think
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people sometimes struggle to connect, that actually how much you respect yourself and love yourself and the way you talk to yourself does hugely impact your business and how successful you are.
Yeah, for sure.
talking about all these huge, really empowering things that you've done and that you're doing, is there a particular time that you can look back that actually things didn't work out so well, and and a failure in your business, but that you've learned so much from, and what lessons did you take away from it?
So I've had many failures, and I think business is really about the failing. We
Hmm.
learn best when we fail, right? Because we learn what to do right the next time. There was this time last year where I was doing a festival, like a well-being festival, um,
Yeah.
and I rushed it. I didn't take my time in putting it together properly. I I I wanted to make it really special, but I didn't have a backup plan. So like a plan B,
Mm.
and it was in August. The festival, and I thought, okay, we're gonna have lovely weather, and it was the weekend where we had torrential rain and winds,
Oh no.
um, and so I don't know how many times I looked at the weather app to see what the weather was going to be like and prayed that it was going to change, but it didn't. Um, and and I had to very very quickly put in a plan B, which I hadn't forecasted for in my business.
Right.
So the actual event went really well, and the people that were there had a really lovely time. So I did put it off, um, but for my own mental health, for my own well-being, being that it was a an event for or like supporting wellness, um, I struggled really badly. I felt like I had been defeated, and I didn't want to step in to doing anything more at all for ages. I just
Yeah.
didn't want to work. I just was like, I'm stepping away. I need time. I need time away. Um, and I always feel guilty for having time away, because when you're self-employed or when it's your own business, you do feel guilty if you step away. It's like you can't just put it down like a 9 to 5 job. It's
Yeah.
kind of like it's your baby, and you wouldn't just leave your baby sitting there for hours or days or weeks, would you? So I I found that really hard, but failing in that sense, in knowing that I didn't have the plan B, and actually this event was huge for me to do by myself in the way that it was being run, led
Yeah.
me to doing things differently and doing this event that I'm doing now. For the
Okay.
Yeah, so I've tweaked it. So there's no festival this year, um, because I'm going to be doing something different and trying it out a different way. I'm implementing all of the things that went wrong
Hmm.
with the festival are already in place for this event. So there is a plan B, and there's lots of people supporting me in other ways, and I'm running it myself, like the event, but there's people in the background to help G me up, if that makes sense, like make sure that
Yeah.
I'm okay and checking on me.
I
So
think, yeah,
I'm
I think it's so important to have that support network around you, isn't it, at these things? Because there's so much pressure, especially with events, with big events. There's so much pressure for you to make it a success. And I can only imagine the sort of dread that you were feeling as you kept checking that weather app and it was saying, yeah, no, no sun yet, no sun. And you didn't have that plan B. Like, but it's a testament to you really that you just cracked on anyway and you still pulled off an amazing event, and the people that did attend still had a really amazing day.
Yeah.
So, it's not, and this is a bit of a cliche to use this term, but it wasn't a complete washout. However, there's lessons, like you say, that you've learned that you're taking forward now to make sure that the next event is even better. And I think that's the important thing, isn't it? With failures, as some people like to use that term, I don't tend to call them that. That's more of a learning. Everything is a learning. And as long as you actually do learn something and then implement what you've learned, then it can't be a failure, can it?
No, and that's what I believe as well. I believe that um things go wrong for reasons. But
Mm.
you're not using the right structure if it's going wrong, and you need to find out what that structure is. And by tweaking and evolving, eventually you find the structure for you, and that's when your business will start
Yeah.
to thrive, because you've got the right tools in place for yourself, for your business then.
Yeah, yeah. So talking about growth and getting that structure in place, what challenges have you faced that have specifically been because of the success and the growth that you're facing in your business?
Um, so I think for me, I'm studying as well, which is really tough for me. So
Wow.
I'm growing, I'm studying, I'm home educating, I'm 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 juggling lots of plates, and
Yeah,
so as I grow, the plates seem to the 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 plates seem to stack up even more and more, which is a
yeah,
really good thing, right? Because there's lots of opportunities and lots of things happening. And I think through that growth, the challenges that I find is number one, feeling like I can pass over pieces of my business to other people because,
mm,
like I
huge
said
one.
before, it's my baby. So letting somebody else take
Mm.
over certain parts of it, I feel, and I'm very much attached. So like I will probably give somebody something and then watch over them to make sure that they're
Yeah,
doing it like right. Like but like so I find that a big struggle and a big challenge is to let the pieces go and to
yeah.
build a team of people around me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge one, and I think one that so many of us can relate. I mean, I say all the time that if I didn't set up the business, I would have probably had a second child. Like the business is my second child,
Yeah.
and it is so hard, especially in the beginning when it has been just you for so long, to delegate and to start. Having people help you with any sort of task in the business, but it is imperative. And I
Yeah.
think one of the key things to remember is I think it's really important in business to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. We cannot all be good at everything, can we?
No.
And I think if you understand your weaknesses and then find really amazing people who are on the same wavelength and they understand your business and but it's their strength, then you can come together and make it a really strong team.
Mm. Yeah. I have a friend who is really good whipping me into action for things. So when I start to procrastinate, I message her and tell her, right, okay, what should do you feel like I should do right now? Like because actually sometimes you do need to be told what to do, right, when you're on your
Yeah.
own business because like the overwhelm is real, and I usually will procrastinate when it's really important decisions, like when
Mm,
it's really important things, or it's the money making things in the business and not the creative things. So she
yeah.
cracks her whip, and she tells me where I need to go and what I need to do, points me in the direction and tells me to come back when I've done it. So um
Love that.
so yeah, so that's helpful.
I think so. I suppose she sort of fits into that business mentor role in,
Yeah.
no, this is what you should be doing next. And have you ever had an actual business mentor?
So I do work with, well, not, no, not really. I work within a membership, but I've
Okay,
never
yeah,
had one person working alongside me on my business. No.
no. So I think this is like I never had either. I've had a lot of sort of I've done courses and there's been coaches on the courses and things like that, but I've never had a one-to-one mentor. And I remember being in I think I was on stage at an event and they were asking me about it. And I said, oh, no, I've never had one. And it literally, they lost their words. They were really shocked. And I didn't realize it was that common a thing that most business owners actually do have mentors.
Yeah.
So I find it now it's really intrigued me. His reaction has made me really question, and then all that doubt comes in. Well, should I? Where could I have been if I did have a mentor? Like, you know, but I think
Yeah.
it's just right for different people, isn't it? And I'm sure there probably will be a stage in my business where I think, okay, a mentor can really support me. But I'm like you, my best friend is so driven, like on my behalf, that she's constantly like checking in with me, right? What have you achieved this week? What are you doing? And she's my biggest cheerleader, and so I think maybe she sort of fits that role anyway. Maybe that's why I don't need one because I've got the support
Yeah.
in her.
Yeah. So I am in a membership, which is really cool and really good. And there's lots of tools that we can use to move our business forward. But I do
Mm,
feel sometimes you need to have accountability in some form other than like when you need to have that accountability. Somebody needs to be there.
Yeah.
So I've got this lady that helps me, but within that membership there's four of us that got on really well. And at the beginning of the year I suggested that we check in once a week. So every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. we go on Zoom and we tell each other what we did this week and where we're going next week. And we've just got a little chat and we'll just check in every now and then to see how we're getting
Love
on,
that.
which is
Yeah.
really nice and keeps us going and keeps like we know we're doing well because we can see the progress because we're sharing it. And I think that's
Yeah.
important as well in business because you don't always see especially when you're um doing the little things, you don't really see the movement in business
Yeah.
unless you're fully expressing that to somebody else. And consistency is key, right? So
Yeah.
when you feel like you're not getting anywhere, you slow down, you put on the brake, and then it kind of sets you back. So knowing that you can move forward and that you've got that consistency and there are things happening even if they are minute,
Yeah.
I think it's very valuable.
Yeah. So I completely agree. So actually one of the things that we have in female founders is we have accountability pods where it can be a group of up to six individuals, and it's pretty much exactly what you say. We have that WhatsApp group where we constantly are checking in with each other. If one of us is having that, down day and we're needing a bit of motivation, we'll all be straight there kicking them up the butt and
Hmm.
saying, no, you can do this. And then we have monthly Zooms where we really nail down, well, how close did we get to those targets we set and what are we going to set ourselves for the following month? And I think accountability is huge because no matter how passionate you are and how much you love your business, some days it's just hard to find the motivation. When
Hmm.
you're working for yourself, some days you're just not feeling it. And I think, like you say, though, unfortunately, consistency is really critical. Um, but sometimes it's hard to keep that drive when it's just you. So
Yeah.
my word for the year is momentum. So as long as I'm moving forward every day and I'm doing something for my business every day, I know that will never be a failure. I will always be on the path to success. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, the accountability pods and this friend that I tell you about, these are the things that keep me on track. And it sounds very similar to you, Serena, that we need that external, not validation, but that external support, I suppose, to keep
Yeah.
us on track sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. My word is growth for this year, and in all
Yeah.
aspects of my, and I ask myself every time I do something, is this helping me to grow? Is this helping my business to grow?
Mm.
Is this helping me to grow? Is this helping my children to grow? Like, so I've booked a few holidays because I need them. They're going to help me grow.
They're gonna help you grow it all rounded in every way. I love that. So talking about this accountability and the mindset and all of those things, have there any ever been days that hasn't quite worked and that you have actually, you've wanted to quit, you've really just had enough?
I think there's a lot of times where I've probably felt like I might want to quit. Um, the festival last year, for sure, was definitely one of them, a big
Yeah,
one. Um, but I think being in business, working for yourself, especially if you don't have like a team around you, it can be a very lonely space. Um, so you've got to be quite uh, mentally strong I think, to move through the days knowing that you might not see anybody for the whole day, and that can get very lonely. Um, and there are times, I guess, when I think, oh, maybe maybe I could just go and get a job and work with people. And then I think to myself, Serena, you'd be no good working for somebody else anymore because as soon as they
no,
tell you what to do, you'll be like, hey, wait a minute, you're doing it wrong.
yeah. Do you know who I am?
um, and so, and also, I think it's important for me having I've got 5 children, and um, I want them to see that it's okay to fail and it's okay to
Yeah.
keep trying. And actually, you succeed by doing something that you're passionate about and not giving in. Um,
Mhm.
and that you don't have to hold down a 9 to 5 job to make money or to be happy. Um, and you can be happy in other ways because we don't all aspire to be that way. So Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what keeps me going sometimes.
Yeah. I
The
think
children.
there's that saying, isn't there, that they're always watching, and children are always learning from the examples that we set, even when we don't know that we're doing it. And I think is one of the key things for me as well is showing my daughter that you can do anything and be anything that you want. And I want her to see the hard days where I'm really stressed and things are really tough in business, because it's not all rainbows and butterflies for anybody, no matter what level you are in business. And it is important for them to understand that as well. But then they also get to reap the rewards and go on holidays and, understand the balance that being in business is. And
Mhm.
yeah, I love it. And I think she's literally said to me yesterday that she's the boss's boss, like she's my boss in the
Oh,
business. And I'm
bless.
like, can't even argue with you, love.
No, my 8-year-old is into baking and has already worked out. He's sorted his brand out. He's got merch. He's
I
like,
love
okay,
that.
if we record, and the reason why he hasn't got so much stuff on his YouTube channel is because of me, because I don't have the space on my devices. But he's like, I need to record this many, and I need to be posting this many times a week. For me to get my a play button, I think it's called a play button, I need
Oh
10,000
yeah.
10 or 100,000, I think he said, followers. Like and subscribe needs to be on everything, so he knows how to run this business. I don't
See,
know
isn't
whether
that
it's
amazing though?
from watching me or other YouTubers, but I'm not
It'll
going to
be all of
discourage
it
him.
though. No, it'd be all of it. And I think I'm so excited for the future in that aspect, that there's so many children that are starting at such a young age due to their support from their parents and watching their parents. There's so many of us more than ever that are self-employed and that are, owning that space. I can't wait to see the power of these young entrepreneurs that we're all building. Like, it's going to
Yeah,
be insane. If you think at 8, he's already planning his first play button from YouTube. God
yeah.
knows where he's going to be.
Yeah,
It's so
exactly. Hopefully.
exciting.
I've Out of all of my children, I do believe that if any of them decide to go on their own with a with a niche or whatever, it'll be him that ends up being the millionaire.
Yeah.
I see it in him. He's got that entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, Serena, thank you so much for talking to me today.
You're
I
welcome.
think, yeah, your story is really inspirational. You're quite the superwoman, I think, with all of those plates that you're juggling, and the work that you do to just empower everybody is really inspirational. So, yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. It's been
good
an
luck with your
absolute
event this
pleasure.
year.
Thank you.
And if people want to find you, or they want to work with you or find out about the event, where can they find you?
So they can head on over to my website, which is www.serenanovelli.com, or they can come and find me over on Instagram or Facebook with the same, Serena Novelli.
Perfect. Perfect. So I'll put the links in the notes for everyone as well. But
Brilliant.
yeah, Serena, again, just thank you so much. And I want to thank you, the listeners, for sticking with us and, having a laugh with us. Maybe some eyebrows were raised when we talked about our catwalk moments. We'll have to see what people. But yeah, thank you to everybody. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next episode.